Do you like geckos? Are you looking for a gecko? Do you have some geckos? Do you have a knobtail gecko? If not, stay tuned. We're going to talk about a species profile for probably one of the arguably cutest reptiles out there on Aborigine Reptiles. Stay tuned. Hello everyone. Welcome to Aborigine Reptiles' first video with me in it. As promised, we did a couple of quick care videos. Those were hit or miss, obviously. So I promised we do a little bit deeper dive into some of the species we have or that we work with. The one we're going to start with is one of my favorite, and I think arguably one of the cutest animals out there, wouldn't you say? Like, I think it's cute, right? I mean, you think it's cute. Camera person, just making sure. Yeah, so they're knobtail geckos. So let's get into it. We'll start off by going over some quick husbandry tips. As you can see here, I have two different setups. We have the hatchling or raise up shoebox, standard 5 quart that you see. And then we also have the larger 20 plus quart sweater box, you would say, that you see in the standard racks. You don't have to utilize any of these type of Sterilite systems. You can actually use 20 gallon long is great. 10 gallons are good for just a single animal. But yeah, just as long as some of the basic requirements are kept, they're very easy. And in fact, arguably one of the best pet geckos. So if you've had leopard geckos, these are very similar. So if that's something you enjoy and you want to go up to that next level, they have come down dramatically in price over the years. The two species we work with, the Nephrus levis levis, which is just your standard smooth-tail knobtail gecko. We also work with the Nephrus vertebralis, which is the midline knobtail, a little bit more expensive, super cute though. So the levis levis though is one of the most common. And if you're looking to get them as a pet, you'll often find, I've seen single males, individual males out there from anywhere from $150 to $250, which sounds like a lot for a gecko. But you know, if you get a higher end leopard gecko, you could spend easily that much. If you're looking for breeding pairs or anything like that, it can cost you a little bit more money. But again, if you're just looking for a pet, this is a great option. Again, very simple and easy, straightforward care. So let's talk about that first. As you said, I talked about the size of the enclosures that we have here. It's pretty straightforward, in fact, that you need a hide on the cool side and a hide on the warm side. Sand substrate, I will do a whole video just on substrates, but really quick, it's very important to have a fine grain play sand. A lot of the big box stores out there do have play sand. What is labeled play sand? You can easily tell that there's some coarse. Anything that's coarse or rough or dusty, you do not want. You're looking for that very smooth, fine, round silica type based sands. I do not recommend any of the calci sands or any of the sands that you could find, the calcium carbonate based sands that you can find at the big box pet stores. Especially the ones that have dyes in them. It's just not natural and normal. It is somewhat harmless supposedly if they ingest it, but it's just really not. If you're going to spend that much money on an animal, just do it the right way, in my personal opinion. These geckos have to be on sand though. Knobtail geckos will not survive or thrive on cocoa fiber or aspen or paper towel even. The babies go right into sand, right from the get-go, no risk of impaction. These animals they're pretty bulletproof, but when it comes to the one thing, it's definitely the substrate. So find yourself a good quality sand. I personally pick up the play sand. It's Quikrete play sand. It's available again at a lot of the big box home improvement stores. There's a specific one that you want to find. So once you find that, it's like $3 or $4 for a 50-pound bag, so great bang for your buck as well. Put that down. I've used some rocks, some small rocks, just to add some enrichment, some texture for the geckos to move around. Then, standard water dish. We're in their dry season right now. The animals are going into their kind of cool dry season, so No water in there as it sits. We do always make sure that the underneath the hides are both damp. These geckos come from a very specific microclimate where they live under the ground, in burrows, under rocks, where it's very humid all the time. So it's important to mimic those, whether it be on the cool side and or the warm side. You let the gecko decide where they want to be. Heating, in terms of how you heat your enclosure, if you're using a rack, obviously you're going to have heat tape, so belly heat and or back heat. So you'll have that thermal gradient that's so important, having a cool and a warm side so the animal can decide where it's best. If you have it in an aquarium enclosure, you can again use those under tank heaters as my personal recommendation. These guys do not need UV lights. They're nocturnal animals, so they're not dependent on UV lights or any type of bright lights. It is good to have a day cycle, you know, a photo period for them, because that's how it is in the wild. So you can just use some basic fluorescent lighting, no strong UVB or anything of that nature. And that's another way you can provide heat in an aquarium enclosure. You can do incandescent lights. Just be careful with the temperatures. You want your hot spot or the warm area in the small limited area to be around 90, anywhere between, you know, high 80s, low 90s. And then the cool size ambient temperature, high 70s, low 80s. And then, you know, it's up to you if you want to cool that down a little bit at night. Obviously, if you turn the light off, it will cool down. You just don't want it to get really cold. These guys do come from a very arid climate. It's very cold at night in the desert, but you don't really want to go below that room temperature at night. We do that during the cooling cycle for the dry season, but it's only limited for a couple of months, 2 to 3 months. So that's the temperature, that's the substrate, these are the hides. There's a bunch of different hides out there. These are just basic snake hides, plastic, hard. I have a couple of different ones here, so that's just basic plastic. We have here, oh, hello. Whoop, they're not awake yet, so they're a little feisty. This is a really cool hide, plastic again, but inside, if you pop the top here, this one will not pop because I'm trying to make a video. Oh, it did pop. There's 2 sponges in here, really cool. And you just spray these with water and they absorb the water. You shut it, and then underneath there's little areas there for the sponge, and the moisture radiates out in terms of humidity, keeps it a nice little humid hide. So this is great, especially for the money. Find these online. I get mine from various websites. Lots of supply stores if you go online. I'll put some links to where I get these, all of these in the links below on the video, so you can check those out. So here's that. The saucers, I just literally go to, again, home improvement stores, pick up these little teeny terracottas. They're like 59 cents. Easy to sanitize, easy to clean, water, done. There's also these really cool terracotta hides. These are hard to come by. I had to order these from some specialty places. I've seen them overseas. I've seen them in Canada and stuff like that. They're hard to come by and they're kind of expensive, but they're super cool. Again, provide a hide. You put the water up here. It's terracotta raw, so absorbs the water, disperses the humidity. Great little pick-me-up, but hard to find. So these are great. I use them for a majority of them. These are the only ones I use for my smaller setups. So that is the enclosure. We talk temperature, we talk substrate, we talk hides, dishes, food. These guys are all about a big meal. I know it gets scary. You've heard it time and time again. You know, don't feed big things. You know, feed your leopard gecko or fat tail gecko or any type of terrestrial gecko, you know, 4 or 5 crickets at a time, maybe, whatever they can eat. These guys aren't about that. That kind of stresses them out. You don't want to leave crickets, roaches or anything like that in the enclosure with them, because it will stress them out over time. These guys like one big meal and they're done. Sometimes you'll get a couple of females that are getting ready for the breeding season. They might double down on a couple of larger, but they like one big meal about the size of their head. So these guys right here love dubia. They love dubia roaches. They love lobster roaches. They do love crickets, don't get me wrong. Depending on some of them, I've had limited success in terms of some of them like superworms, some like mealworms as a treat, waxworms. Again, those are all more of a treat as opposed to a staple diet. Most of our animals here are dubia, lobster with some cricket treats here and there. We breed our roaches in-house, so it makes sense. Gut loaded, of course. We'll do a whole nother video just on gut loading and how critically important it is. But yeah, so vitamin, calcium dusted, good to go. And they are usually really good eaters. Typically I feed them around evening or nighttime after the lights have gone off for a little bit, so that way they're awake. And yeah, that's it. If you like this video, we're going to be doing some more in-depth videos. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to drop them down below. I'm sure I didn't cover everything that that you'd be thinking about, and I'm sure this isn't how everyone sets them up, but it's just a general. We all have a little bit different way of doing things. But yeah, if you've had leopard geckos, again, leopard geckos, fat tail geckos, and you want to kind of step it up, try something new, great animal to try, super cool, arguably the cutest reptile out there, and they're just amazing. So if you like it, let us know. What am I supposed to say? I'm supposed to ring that bell and smash that like button. Yeah, do that if you liked it. And we'll see you next time when we talk to you about another species. So thanks a lot. Check us out on Facebook. If you like the t-shirt, think it's cool, think it's a pretty cool logo, you can buy these. We have these as well. They're on our Facebook site. Shoot us a message. Logo right there. There we go. And yeah, talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much.